Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Luputu Laksmi Premadewi from Yogyakarta State University. Would like to present you an article entitled Preschool Teachers' Perspective on the Implementation of Reggio Emilia in Bali. Let's begin with the introduction. So one of the approach that emphasizes child center but is still rarely used in Indonesia is the Reggio Emilia approach. It's a common practice to implement this approach in its home country, Italy. But the implementation of this approach in another country might be a challenge for the teachers. Bali has various preschools with over a wide range of curriculum, and some preschools apply Reggio Emilia approach, and it's handled by local teachers. So the study aims to describe the teacher's perspective regarding the strengths and challenges during the implementation of Reggio Emilia approach. Type of this research is qualitative with descriptive approach. In-depth interview was conducted to collect the data. An open-ended question were asked to the participants. The study used purposive sampling technique. So the participants in the study were 3 preschool teachers from Kebun Kindergarten, which is located in Canggu, Bali. The participants were selected based on their teaching experience and according to the child's age group. The data collection in the study was carried out in May 2020. And to analyze the data, the study used model of Miles and Huberman. This is the participant characteristic. There are 3 participants from Early Learners 1, pre-kindergarten class, and kindergarten class. They have different teaching experience range from 5 to 7 years. So there are 5 key elements of Reggio Emilia approach applied by the teachers in Kebun Kindergarten. The first is image of the child. Second is teacher as observer. Next is environment as the third teacher. And then pedagogical documentation, and the last is community collaboration. The first strength is image of the child. Participants see this aspect as strength because they see the children can develop their confidence to share their thoughts and ability to construct their own ideas. This perspective is related to John Dewey's theory, and he believed that knowledge was constructed by the children through active participation and experimentation. The second element has strength because they can build communication with the children and let the children decide what they want to learn as part of the child-centered approach. This perspective has influence from Maria Montessori that the teacher role as facilitator to help children become more independent by allowing them to learn collaboratively to construct the knowledge. The third element has strength because the environment becomes appreciation of work or project made by the children and encourages the teacher to be creative in designing the learning environment. This point of view reflects Dewey's and Vygotsky's view that knowledge is constructed through interaction with both people and environment. So the fourth pedagogical documentation has strength. First, documentation provides to get a teacher with insight into children's learning processes. Documentation also reference as a reference for continuous improvement and as a tool of sharing the child's moments to the family. This perspective has the same page as pointed out by Malaguzzi. Through the documentation, the children become more curious, interested, and confident as they understand the meaning of what they have achieved. The last element has strength because the teacher feeling supported by the parents and community. This view is related to Bronberner's social ecological theory, which believes that the children and adults grow and develop in an ecological system. which include interaction among various factors such as family, school, community, and wider society. Those are all the strengths, and let's move on to the challenge. The first challenge of teacher as an observer. The teachers see this element have challenge because sometimes there are a lot of children need to be observed with a limited time. And New defines that the strategy of teacher as participant and observer is that teacher can encourage children to attend to an activity. The next element is challenging because of the misconception by some parents. Some parents still think that this approach comes with worksheets, so they haven't very understand about the Reggio Emilia approach. So in this case, teacher efforts in reminding parents about Reggio Emilia is similar to Rinaldi. We emphasize that everyone have rights to be involved in the educational process, whether teachers, children, or parents, in order to feel the sense of belonging and to share the meaning. The last challenge is the challenge of pedagogical documentation. During the documentation practice, the teacher learned how to manage the time, capturing moments, and interpret the children's thoughts. As mentioned by Rinaldi 2005, staff teams need to be more creative and resourceful in how best to allocate time. Sustaining and developing staff training and development need to be the priority. That's all the discussion about this study. And for the conclusion, based on the previous discussion, teachers in Kebun Kindergarten have their own perspective regarding strengths and challenges of Reggio Emilia approach. Almost all of the key elements has both strength and challenge. So teachers need to improve their competencies and build strong teamwork in their class in order to overcome the challenge and keep the good work for the strength. Alright, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you for your attention and good evening.